All right, so get this. Today we're diving into the world of like actual yogis. Miracles, you know?
Really?
Yeah. We're talking Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramhansa Yogananda.
Okay.
And it's one of those books that's like legendary if you're into spirituality or Eastern
I
philosophy,
could see that.
or even just like good levitation stories, honestly.
It's amazing how a memoir, like a personal story, can become such a classic.
Right.
It's not just some obscure spiritual text. It digs into consciousness, Eastern wisdom, all that.
Right.
And yeah, even some stories that sound like they came straight out of a movie, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like when you hear yogi, right, you picture like someone super zen or someone bending spoons with their mind.
Yeah.
This book throws you right into that world,
Mm-hmm.
but through the eyes of someone who actually lived it, not just, making it up.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so interesting. Yogananda, he doesn't shy away from the crazy stuff he experienced,
Right.
but he puts it all within this really deep philosophical, spiritual context.
Yeah. It's not just about how out there it is. It's about what those experiences tell us about ourselves.
Right, right. Okay, so before we get to the mind-bending parts, can you give our listener, like, the quick version of Yogananda's life?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, his whole life was just one crazy event after another.
Okay.
From childhood, he's already searching for something more, like a divine connection.
Uh-huh.
Then you have all these stories of him meeting these incredible saints, yogis, each one more amazing than the last.
Okay.
It's like it all built up to him meeting his guru, Sri Yukteswar Giri.
And this is where things get really interesting, right?
Exactly. He learns Kriya Yoga from this guru,
Oh, okay.
which becomes central to his teachings.
Uh-huh.
And eventually, his whole mission is to bring these teachings to the West.
And it's interesting, he really stresses that people should learn these practices from a qualified guru, like a real teacher,
Right.
It's almost like a warning for now, with so much information and honestly misinformation everywhere these days. Totally. He's saying be careful on the spiritual path,
Yeah.
Find a real guide. It's more important now than ever with how much information is out there.
So we've got this incredible life story, unbelievable events, and then this whole other layer of like deep Indian philosophy.
Right.
Maya, karma, dharma, these big words. You ready to break those down?
Sure, yeah. Let's start with Maya.
Okay.
Imagine, like, The Matrix, but way before the movie.
Okay.
It's the idea that the world, the way we see it, is actually an illusion.
Whoa, hold on. You're not saying the world isn't real, right?
Not exactly. It's more like we get so focused on material things, success, all that we end up with this limited, like, distorted view of something way bigger.
So like we're wearing these glasses that are messing with how we see everything.
Exactly. And because of those glasses, we chase stuff that won't make us truly happy. Yogananda says that real happiness comes from connecting with our true selves, the part of us that exists beyond this illusion.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. So where does karma fit in? It feels like everyone uses that word.
Everyone does.
Right.
And Yogananda, he goes beyond just, what goes around comes around.
Okay.
He talks about actions and consequences, but his focus is really on intention.
Okay.
It's not just what you do, it's why you do it.
Interesting.
Our motivation matters.
So less about some cosmic points system and more about like understanding our choices have consequences, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And that brings us to Dharma.
Which is a tough one to define, right?
It is, yeah.
It's not just like destiny or duty. There's more to it than that.
Exactly. There's way more to it. It's about, like, living in line with your own unique purpose.
Okay.
Figuring out your own way to contribute to the world. And what's interesting is how much the book emphasizes finding that fulfillment in your work, but not getting consumed by ambition.
Which is so relevant today, right? Everyone's trying to find that balance between work and life.
Right.
It's like we're all stuck on a treadmill going nowhere.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you can see how it all connects. Like, if you're caught up in Maya, chasing success, you might be missing out on your Dharma.
Yeah, okay.
Yogananda is offering a completely different way to see your life, your place in the world.
It's like he's saying, here's this whole different way to see things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where it gets really wild. He doesn't just talk about these ideas.
Right.
He tells these incredible stories, almost like to illustrate them,
Okay.
to make you really get it.
And let's be real, some of those stories are like out there.
Oh, yeah.
Levitating saints, materializing objects. It's like X-Men stuff.
Totally.
There's even that one about Yogananda surviving in a sealed room for weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like some people listening are probably like, hold on, this is a bit much.
And that's totally understandable. You got to be a little skeptical,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Especially from a purely scientific viewpoint. A lot of these miracles, there's no real proof.
Yeah, yeah.
We can't go back in time and film it all.
But it's interesting the way Yogananda tells these stories. It's not like he's trying to convince you.
Right.
It's more like, hey, this is what I experienced. Think about it.
Yeah. It's like he's showing us how to see the world differently.
Okay.
A world where maybe consciousness and energy work in ways we haven't even imagined.
Right.
He's making us ask, what if we don't know everything yet?
So it's not about just believing blindly, but being open to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, there's more to reality than we think.
Exactly. That's what makes this book so powerful, you know?
Yeah.
It makes us question our assumptions. Consider that there might be more to the universe than science can explain right now.
Which brings us to the big question. How do we actually apply these ideas to our lives? Especially now, in the 21st century.
It's interesting because Yogananda actually addresses that in ways that are surprisingly relevant.
Really?
Yeah, even when it comes to things like technology.
Right.
Something he couldn't have even pictured back then.
Okay, yeah, technology. He was writing way before smartphones and the internet.
Right.
But he seemed to have this sense of where things were going.
It's true. He saw the good technology could do, but also the danger of it, becoming something we're controlled by.
Right.
He warned about it becoming a distraction from connecting with ourselves and, like, the real world.
Which is so true now. Like, we all love our phones, how easy they make things, being connected all the time.
Yeah.
But sometimes it feels like we're addicted to them too.
Exactly. And it's not that he was against technology,
Right.
He just emphasized using it mindfully.
Okay.
Make it serve our purpose, not the other way around.
And then there's how he talks about love and relationships.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so different, so much bigger than just the romantic kind of love.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
He talked about developing unconditional love, not just for, like, your partner or family,
Right.
but for everyone. Like, seeing the divine in every single person, understanding that we're all connected deep down.
Okay, that sounds incredible, but also really hard. Like, how do you even start to live that way?
It's a process, for sure.
Right.
You can't just turn it on like a switch,
Right.
But Yogananda would say, it starts by changing how you see things, understanding that everyone, even the tough ones, has that same divine spark you do.
So instead of getting caught up in the differences, you're trying to connect on this deeper level. It's like, instead of it's me against you, every interaction is a chance to practice that bigger kind of love,
Yeah. And it might sound kind of impossible.
Right.
But even if you just start to question those old habits, the judgments, separating yourself from others,
Right.
that's where change happens,
So where does this all leave us? We've got this book,
Yeah.
crazy stories, deep philosophical stuff, even practical advice that feels relevant today.
Right.
For someone listening, following us on this deep dive, what's the takeaway?
What I love about Autobiography of a Yogi is it doesn't give you all the answers, It just makes you want to keep thinking, keep searching.
Okay, yeah.
It reminds us to question things, whether it's like a scientific theory or, even a story about a levitating saint.
So it's not about being told what to think, but like realizing you can think for yourself, look at your own beliefs and say, what if there's more?
Exactly. Yogananda isn't saying, believe this because I saw it.
Right.
He's saying, here's what I learned. Now you go find your own truth.
And that's why it's a classic. It like wakes something up in people, makes them feel a sense of wonder, makes you want to look beyond the everyday and find something bigger.
It reminds us that reality is way more mysterious and awe-inspiring than we think.
So wrapping up, I want to leave everyone with a couple of questions.
Okay.
Inspired by Yogananda and his journey. First, can we really make sense of those unbelievable things, those miracles, using science?
Right.
Or is it one or the other?
Yeah.
And building on that, if what we see as the material world is just an illusion, like the idea of a Maya, how does that change how we actually live our lives, our values, goals, all of it?
That's a big one.
Big questions. But worth thinking about. If anything we talked about today resonated with you, if you're curious to explore these ideas more, I highly recommend Autobiography of a Yogi. It's a journey worth taking.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and stay open to all those possibilities out there inside and all around you.